Hi guys, it's Ray. Today I'm going to share my 15 favorite hacks, tips, and tricks from my minivan camper build. From cheap bug screens, shower tents, and cable tie hacks, to clever bed builds, magic table legs, wiring tricks, mounting tips, and more. If you're planning to or already living in a van, a car, a camper, or an SUV, this video is for you. Check the description for links to products, build videos, and video chapters so you can easily skip forward or go back. Okay, here we go. Say goodbye to DIY. Tip number 1, get these $3 gutter guards from any hardware store and pop them into place on top of your side windows for easy bug-free air ventilation. They come in white or in brown and they already have holes in them, perfect for airflow. And if you look really closely, you can see there's a micro mesh grilled in there that keeps the bugs out. They're 36 inches wide, and because they're made of vinyl, they're super easy to cut. Or spend a few bucks more on these large magnetic bug screens made for sunroofs and use them on your side windows. They'll work on any car, including the large sliding doors on minivans. Tip number 2, add window deflectors to keep the rain out while your windows are rolled down. These window deflectors stick out a couple of inches from the window, so when it rains, the water falls outside of the window. And the best part of these magnetic window screens is that they snap on top of the deflector, so you get the best of both worlds. The fresh air goes in, the bugs stay out, and when the water hits the deflectors, it just trickles off outside the window. Tip number 3, get cheap tent poles, 2 shower curtain liners, and some tiny eye bolts to create a budget-friendly privacy tent for a shower, toilet, or changing room. This is how the private shower area looks once I have it set up. I have 2 shower curtains hanging on a 16-foot tent pole that I bend in half and thread into these tiny eye bolts on my roof rack. I have 2 on either side. Then I use one of my awning support poles to hold up the edge farthest from the van. That pole sits inside a plastic weight on the ground to keep it from moving, and I use spring clamps to hold the shower curtain in place. Plus, it's a great place to hang wet clothes to dry. Tip number 4. Cut a piece of 1/4-inch birch plywood about 5 inches across by 9 inches down, and then you can wedge it into the seat grab handle just like that. It's super snug, and you can mount all kinds of stuff up here. Here I have a puck light and a magnet. I've got another one on this side. Here I've got a removable LED light, and behind it I've mounted my little travel router. The coolest thing about this is that you can pop these out at any time if you want to work on something. It's just super easy. And you can see here, I've got some electronics hidden behind it. Tip number 5, use 12-volt DC appliances whenever possible. Your vehicle already runs on 12-volt direct current, so it's more efficient to use DC devices. Anytime you use an AC inverter, you lose the power in the conversion from DC to AC. You probably knew that already, but did you know it's pretty easy to convert some AC devices to run on 12 volts? Tip number 6. This step-down converter drops 12 volts down to 5 volts for my travel router. And for my 27-inch TV, this step-up converter bumps 12 volts up to 19. It just takes a little bit of wiring. Tip number 7. Here are 2 ways to make your next wiring project easier. First, get a smart wire stripper that can instantly trim different gauge wires. Adjust the wire size, the depth. There's a little blade right there. Tiny thing there, and you measure from the blade to this red thing that can slide back and forth. That's a little spacer, and so you slide that in there. As long as you put it snug onto the red little thing, and you press down, perfect strip every time. Now we'll do the red one. That's how you do it. If you need a longer, more wire, you would slide that red thing further down. There it is. Then get a set of wire lever nut quick connectors. Just insert your wire, lock down your lever, and you've got a safe, perfect connection just like that. Tip number 8, drill holes in all your platform pieces when making a folding sofa bed. You can see here I have the cushions out, and now I have these holes that I drilled using a cordless drill and a hole saw, and that was just for extra ventilation, but also saves a little bit of weight. You'll need a wired or cordless drill and a 3 or 4-inch hole saw blade. If you do use a cordless drill, you're going to need extra batteries and a whole lot of patience. It can take up to 5 minutes to drill each hole. Tip number 9. And speaking of convertible beds, use locking drawer slides in the front. That makes it a snap to go from bench to bed in just 2 seconds. Pull it, snaps into place. Heavy-duty slides can hold up to 500 pounds, and this design hack gives you more legroom because you won't need extended support rails that can eat into your precious floor space. The next cool feature is that I can drop this bench to bed mode with just one hand. All I do is pull right there and let it go. It drops straight down to a bed. Tap the link in the description for a detailed video on how I made this sofa bed. Tip number 10. And another thing about sofa beds, make your seat board wider than your other panels, especially if you're tall or if you have long legs like I do. The more support you have under your legs when sitting, the more comfortable you'll be. In my first build, the panels were all the same size, and after about 15 minutes of sitting, my legs started hurting. Instead of 4 same-size panels, make the seat board 20% wider. And here's a bonus tip. Make a thinner cushion for your seat back, just for sitting up. So I usually just take this thick cushion. This is the one that's 6 inches. And I leave it back with the other cushions. And then I made this 4-inch one just for sitting up. And now I go all the way back and I'm much more comfortable. Tip number 11. Cover your cushions with Sunbrella brand fabric. You usually see Sunbrella used outside on patio furniture. It's expensive, but it's already UV and water resistant. Perfect for the mishaps in van life. Tip number 12. Cable ties, also called tie wraps. I use them under my sofa. These are just tie wraps that I use to connect 2 baskets together so that I can use the entire depth back there under there. And they just slide in and out like one really long drawer. On my trash cans, the cabinet has a slot here for a narrow trash can that has another secret trash can mounted behind it that I can access from the front to be used while driving. I use cable ties in the back of the van to secure my vertical storage to the seatbelt mounts, and up here too. These aren't going anywhere. And I have one holding my phone charger in place on this wood block. Tip number 13. Use these water bottle cages made for bikes. They'll hold anything round. On this side, I've got a cup and some cooking utensils. And I used the one on this side for my tiny fire extinguisher. It was loose, so I wrapped gaffer's tape around it for a snug fit. Tip number 14. Make a DIY storage shelf. When I'm done cooking at night, I put the air fryer in the stove on this shelf I made that sits on top of the front seats and the steering wheel. I bought this pre-cut project board. You can get these for $15 from any hardware store. Now I'll center the block on the tip of the screw. That's where that pilot hole comes in handy. Hold it steady and screw it in the rest of the way with a drill. And then we'll do the same thing for the block on the other end. Now I'm going to test this out on top of the seats. So I'm going to line my 2x2 legs up in the center of those handles, and you're going to push down flat. Then you're going to lean over to the other side of the board. You're going to push it down flat. And then if it's solid and it doesn't wiggle too much, well, then you're done. You've got a DIY removable shelf. And tip number 15. Now for the fun part, let's turn this shelf into a table. And for that, we need quick connect rails. You can get these aluminum support rails on Amazon. They come in pairs that lock together. One side is mounted in your rig, the other is mounted to the table, and it just slides over the top and locks into place. And you want to take the one with the larger curve at the top here. And you want to put it on the edge of the shelf. You're going to line it up here. For this, I just use number 8 stainless steel wood screws. Next, drill a hole in a small wood block. Mount that block to the bottom of the shelf, then pick up a cheap monopod. And the thing that makes this one so cool is that it has these quick release levers, and you can make it any size and lock it into position super quick. So now I'm going to hook this up on my side quick connect rail, and first I lean it up, get it snapped in there, and then I'm going to pivot it down there. Okay, I grab my monopod, slide it into that hole we made, and lock it down, and that's it. We now have a DIY shelf turned into a camper van table. So that's it, my 15 favorite hacks, tips, and tricks. Do you have any tips you'd like to share? Leave a comment. Until next time, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. To pull it out, I slide these out of the way and unhook the drawer thing, pull it, and then snaps into place.